ever faced in my day as a player. So with all that's now available, how are Premiership rugby teams using these tools to genuinely improve performance on the field?
Previously we had 10 to 15 GPS units, so we'd have a little bit of data about what a few of the players did. As the sort of department's grown, we now have pretty much a GPS unit for every player, so we know every session, what everyone's done. We can get a real sort of picture of what does a week look like, what does a month look like.
It records everything from accelerations to impacts to meters covered. So it's not just looking at those stats and going, oh, look how hard you worked in a game.
When I was playing, I just knew when I'd had a good or a bad day on the pitch. And players still know this and feel this, but now they're able to see the specifics behind every aspect of their performance. With GPS, heart rate monitors, VO2 data, accelerometers, videos and drones all watching their every move, it's gone way beyond just feel.
We have to cater for the guy that wants to look at all his tackles off off his left shoulder, but we also have to look at we want to cater for the guy who wants to look at something that's not more, you can't really stick a number to in decision making. But as a department, we've got a real aim to cater for everyone's needs.
What has become more apparent, certainly the video side of things, that's become more affordable. The latest one and a bit of a craze, obviously drones, getting the best visual aspects to the coaches and players so they can review their own performances better.
I don't think there's such thing as bad data, it's how you handle it, how you present it, and we don't want to use it as a stick to beat them with if they haven't had what we'd consider like an ideal session. You know, they're very aware of what they've done and they know if they've had a bad game. They don't need, you've had a bad game for this reason, this reason. They know that. We'll use it as a starting point for where we can improve.
Players can now look at detailed stats and directly compare them to their opposite number, enabling them to set new targets to achieve best-in-class outputs. But what do today's players think about all this data?
There's so many stats, there's GPS, you name it, it's there. I think it's about picking and choosing what's relevant, making it sure it's not too much, it's enough that you can take in and remember it so that when you need to use it, that information is there.
I look at distance covered, I look at meters per minute, look at explosive distance as well.
No, I just compete against myself. I've got targets that I know I want to be heading towards, and I've kind of got a general spread of other guys around the game in my position of what they're heading as well, so I know what's expected.
The trend would probably be the older ones with concentrating a little bit more on, again, their gut and what they see, and the young ones might do a little bit more analysis because they've grown up with it now.
Data is clearly big business and will continue to grow in rugby, but where exactly is this heading? And do leading coaches and players think it's essential to winning rugby matches?
You're always going to use your gut as a coach, and he's a warrior of a guy and loves the team so much. He's going to do everything and go above and beyond normal data, for example.
So I think it's about going in with your eyes open. But if you believe that actually that's what's going to win you, I've sat in meetings before, this is going to make the difference between whether you win or you lose. I don't take that. I take on board the fact that it potentially could be something that's going to make an adjustment for us that's really beneficial. But after that, it comes from experience, it comes from that gut feel, call it what you want. Ultimately, you can't take away the personalising and the decision-making process in the moment.
That's the challenge now, is making sure that the emotional feeling of how things are going doesn't get bogged down with all the stats and all the facts and figures. But at the same time, you can't let it run everything you do.
The use of data, or the thirst for it, is clearly ambitious. Data must be more instantly accessible, more specific, and explore new territories, and ultimately, it must be easier to understand. Modern rugby is embracing data change, and it's an obvious trend that no successful business can ignore. Investment into achieving better data and better implementation of that data will undoubtedly bring about more positive results.